I got pregnant while I was in another continent. Right now I am in Spain and I'm 6 months pregnant and I'm settled. Everything is fine, but I'm gonna tell you my story and how that went and for how long I traveled and if it's even doable. Me and my husband, we planned to travel for 2 years. So the first year we traveled all around Southeast Asia and our plan was to travel South America for our second year. However, while I was in Brazil, which was the first country in South America that we went to, we got the biggest surprise of our lives. I got pregnant. Obviously, it was an initial shock because I'm so far away from home. My family are based in Ireland. I'm from Europe. However, when me and my husband left Ireland to go travel, we left Ireland for good. That means we do not have a home in Europe to go and settle down and prepare for the baby. So because of that reason, it was a bit of an initial shock and worry. However, my next flight that was already purchased was to Chile in 2.5 months. So I knew that the first at least 3 months of my pregnancy were going to be in another continent while traveling the world. I quickly came to terms with this and realized it's not actually that scary. It actually ended up being a very beautiful thing because I got to enjoy some of my last months before becoming a mama with my husband and doing the thing that I love the most, which is traveling. So here's how we did it. Instead of buying the first flight home and rushing to settle down, we took it slow. We did have a routine because we weren't moving from country to country every week. We were staying in a country for a couple months at a time. So that allowed me to have a routine. I was staying active. I was going to the gym almost every day. I continued my routine. I started researching about pregnancy because it's my first baby. I was going to a doctor once a month. Because I was traveling, I was going to a different doctor every month, but because it was so early on in the pregnancy, that was okay because my appointments consisted of blood work, checkups, and in my case everything was normal, so that kept me calm and kept me going. What really helped me was having the support of my husband. While I was focusing on myself and my body and learning about pregnancy, he was worrying about our future plans. He was planning where we were going to settle, how we were going to do it, so that kind of gave me the relaxation of doing my thing with my pregnancy. The hardest part of this, I would say, was during the time that I was getting most of my pregnancy symptoms in the first trimester. So for 2 weeks, I had bad nausea. I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to smell anything. I didn't really want to do anything. So those few weeks were quite hard. But you need to realize when you are traveling, you have the freedom to have an active travel or to have a very slow travel. So during those few weeks, we didn't go out for food much. We stayed at home. I rested a lot. Then my symptoms went away and then I became more adventurous again. I really made an effort to stay active. Like I said, I was going to the gym, but I was also doing a lot of hiking and exploring and just continuing to travel. Because this is my first pregnancy, I think traveling and being out of that home routine actually made me a lot more relaxed about everything because I'm the kind of person where if I get pregnant, I'm going to research everything about it. I want to be educated and I want to know as much as I can about it. So traveling slowed me down a little bit and I think that was a very good thing. So if you are traveling and you get pregnant, you don't need to panic because wherever you are in the world, you still have so much time to go home and to prepare for things. And in the meantime, you can use that time to educate yourself and to learn about the pregnancy because there is not an awful lot that you need to do compared to the third trimester where you're preparing for the baby's arrival and preparing for labor. The first trimester is just more preparation for the later stages and just excitement of becoming pregnant. So I was traveling up until 3.5 months of my pregnancy. What started to get difficult at that point was I was backpacking. So I had one big backpack on my back, 65 liters, I believe. That backpack was heavy, so that worried me a little bit. Once I started to grow, I didn't feel comfortable carrying a heavy weight anymore. Also, my bag was entirely completely full. So in the 3rd month, I did start to grow and I was growing out of a lot of like denim shorts and like pants. So to replace those things was a little bit difficult because I was traveling. If I bought one thing, I had to throw out another thing and that's fine. But I wasn't at home, I wasn't settled. I didn't want to start buying a bunch of maternity clothes and pregnancy stuff yet. So I was trying to hold, I bought a few pieces and I was trying to hold until I got home. So I really didn't have a lot to wear. So if you get pregnant while you were traveling in another continent or even a country nearby but you don't have flights to come home very soon, my advice is wherever you are, go to a doctor straight away. They will put you on a prenatal They will tell you what your next steps are, and they will reassure you if you tell them your situation. I found that going to doctors and appointments always calmed me down because any questions I had, the doctors were very reassuring and they always told me it's okay. Even if you are changing locations, you can still easily go to all the doctor appointments that you need to cover. And the only difference, you just don't have the comfort of your own home. You have to move around, but you are very capable of that in the early stages of your pregnancy. While I was in Brazil, I did a blood test that tests for the sex chromosomes of the baby, so I found out the sex of my baby while I was in Brazil. But then I only checked the results when I was in Europe, so we are having a baby boy. One thing to be careful about is what you are consuming while you are traveling. Try to avoid eating junk food or too many takeaways. Try to get accommodations that have an equipped kitchen that you can cook your own healthy meals. Also, better to avoid any kind of street food because you don't know how that is prepared. And once you do these things and you just plan to get home whenever you can, just enjoy these travel moments. It's gonna be an amazing memory to look back on. When I was in Vietnam, I met this German woman who got pregnant while she was traveling in Asia with an Asian man. She went back to Germany close to her due date. She had her baby. She started a business during that same time. The business became successful. It was an online business. And then once the baby was born, after some months, she started to travel again, just her and her baby. So if you love to travel and you feel like this pregnancy is going to stop that lifestyle for you, it really doesn't have to be that way. Once your baby is a little bit older, you can start to travel again with him or her. That's what we plan to do when our son is going to turn 1. We are already planning a trip to Japan with him, and we're very excited about that. So we are going to continue to travel. It's what we love to do. And if you are abroad right now and you're worried, I just hope you have the best time on your travels. Try to make the most out of this time. You have so much time to go home and settle. Everything is going to fall into place.